بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين لا سيما بقية الله في الأرضين عجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف وجعلنا من أعوانه وأنصاره اللهم أخرجني من ظلمات الوهم وأكرمني بنور الفهم اللهم افتح علينا أبواب رحمتك وانشر علينا خزائن علومك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. We continue our study of Unit 6 of the book Islamic Belief System, which is about the resurrection. We said the relation between this life and the eternal life that we are going to have is briefly mentioned in this hadith. Ad-dunya mazra'atul akhirah. This world is the farm for the hereafter. Whatever you plant here, you will harvest there. You cannot expect good harvest without planting properly. And depending on what seeds you plant, you will get different results. But to explore this more, we can say there are three possibilities for understanding the relation between dunya and akhirah. So we want to elaborate more on this dunya being farm for the hereafter. One is to think that in dunya we do things, and then like the legal systems that we have in dunya, for certain things there is penalty, or sometimes for certain things there might be reward. What is a crime or is not crime can be different. There are some crimes that all countries, all legal systems recognize as crimes. There are certain things that in some countries considered as crime and another is not considered as crime. Or over history there can be changes. For example, slavery at a time was not a crime in many countries, but now it's a crime. So over history can change, from country to country can change. Even those things which are considered as crime, what would be the punishment? Is it financial punishment? Is it to serve in prison? Is it execution? Again, countries are different. Even one country over time can be different. So there is a relation. You can understand that there is a relation between punishment and crimes, but this relation is not fixed. It's based on decisions made. There must be an authority. Either it's a king who makes a decision, or as a parliament who passes a law, or a government, for example, makes a decision. Things like this. So, this is one model. When it comes to the reward and punishment that we are going to receive on the day of judgment, it's not like this. That it is based on decision of a kind of king or parliament, which can be very much subjective, which can be changeable. They may realize that they made too little or too much, then they revise. It's not like this. It's something more. The second model is to say that it's like cause and effect relation. When you study, you learn. Knowledge is your reward. But this is not decided in any parliament or approved by any king. That we decide that when you study, you will get knowledge. Or when you don't study, you don't learn. You remain ignorant. This is not based on anyone's decision. This is not based on any contract or any law. This is real. Or for example, if you take your medicine, inshallah you will get shifa. If you don't get your medicine and ignore your health and diet and medicine, your illness will remain or may increase. It is not based on anyone's decision. This is cause and effect relation. Okay? If you are driving and you switch on the light, you will see. If you don't switch on the light, you will not see. You may have accident. This is not based on anyone's decision. So this model is much better than the first model for understanding. So reward and punishment that we have in Akhirah is not like reward and punishment that we have in different judiciary systems. It's more closer to cause and effect explanation. That if you do something good, it would have good effect. If you do something bad, it would have bad effect. It's real and it's not based on any decision which can be changed. But based on the Quran and some hadith and also some mystical experiences, but for us the main thing is the Quran and hadith, there is even a much closer relation between reward and punishment on the one hand and actions on the other hand. So we go to the third model, and that is to say that the reward and punishment are indeed embodiment of our own actions. Tajassum a'mal means your own actions would be visible in a form which is appropriate to that world. Okay? So it's not that, for example, you just see a movie of your action. You see your action, but you see it in its malakuti form. Okay? So your action takes a form, a shape suitable for that world. And sometimes some people have been able, even in dunya, have a vision and a sight of that malakuti form. For example, if someone has done a ghaibah, they have seen that there is flesh in their teeth. You know the story of in the life of the Prophet that happened to one lady. Or if someone, for example, has misappropriated money of an orphan, it's like eating fire. And sometimes it can be seen for people who have ability to penetrate and see the other world. But for the most part, we don't see these things. But we are all going to see when the ghita, when the veil is removed. So when the Quran says, فَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ خَيْرًا يَرَهُ وَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ شَرًّا يَرَهُ. The Quran doesn't say you would see its reward and punishment only, or you would see its effect only. So it's not model 1 or model 2, it's model 3. You would see your own action. But not necessarily that you would only see your action, that you would see like a film that you are doing ghaibah, na'udhu billah. No, it's more than that. You would see what damage you have caused to yourself, what darkness, what injury you have caused, what fire you have taken in. So you would see the action, but in its form which is suitable for that world. Actually, the reward and punishment are not only going to be created later or going to be seen later. Actually, right now, when we do something good or bad, that's what is happening. So if I am doing ghaiba, or if I am lying, or if I am doing zulm, or if I am taking money of orphan, right now this is happening. But it is not fixed. Maybe tomorrow I do tawbah, maybe I try to compensate. It can change. On the day of judgment, it's the final decision. But it's not that nothing happens to me, I am all right, I am not affected by my sins, and then only on the day of judgment, everything starts to work. Or if you do good actions, right now you get the light, you get the barakah of your good action right now. But maybe you lose it later. Na'udhu billah. On the day of judgment, we have the final decision. So it's like, this is just an analogy. It's like, for example, a person who is working, and then there are few people in the court, and they have live court review of his case. You live 40 years of court. But the decision will be fixed when your life is over. But every moment we are being judged, and the judge, this high judge, is looking at us. But it is more than that, because the judge only in dunya can see the action, but our judge see the action and see the effects and see the malakuti form of our action. So, this is what we have to know about the relation between dunya and akhirah, between our reward and action. Of course, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when it comes to good actions, not only He would show us the form of that action which is appropriate for akhirah, but He may multiply it, as we said. So, this does not conflict with the idea of multiplication of reward. So what you do, for example, is like you deserve one tree in heaven, Allah will make it, for example, 10 trees in heaven. But the foundation is what you have done after being multiplied, if it is hasana. Or, for example, it can be forgiven. So if it's forgiven, it can be removed. If you remember, we said that even for forgiveness, we have different levels. You remember one of the sessions, we had this, that it can be just forgiven, it can be forgiven and covered, so that people don't see what you have. It's covered. Because if people know about your sins, and then they know you are forgiven, still your reputation is damaged. So this person is a murderer, but forgiven because he did tawbah. Everyone looks at you, reminds him of your crime. So we have takfir as-sayyat. This is more than maghfirah. Or it's a type of maghfirah which is more than just forgiving. Then we have mahwu as-sayyat. Mahwu as-sayyat is not only it's covered, but it is erased. Okay? Because even when it is covered, still people can see there is something which is covered. So suppose they give you records of your deeds. If they write these sins he has committed but are forgiven, you feel embarrassed. If they tipax, still it's better because they don't know what you have done, but still they realize There must be a problem because good things are not, tea bags. So we have what? We have then mahwu sayyi'at. It's totally erased. It's not covered. It's erased. But more than that, we have tabdeelu sayyi'at bil hasanat. Allah will transform your sins into good actions. So no one feel that you have done something which is just forgiven. They will get another impression about you. Okay. So this is about the relation between dunya and akhirah. Another thing is, dunya is for akhirah. In the sense that our life here is an opportunity for us to build our akhirah. We don't have any other opportunity. Whether we like it or not, this is the only opportunity that we have to build our eternal life. You can use your life, you can make extension to your life, but still you have to do the extension during your life. How you can make extension? Add extension by starting something that will carry on after you. So if in my life I manage to train 10 good students, as long as they live and do something good, my life is extended. Yes? And if they also train 10 people, again I have second extension. If I have good children, then it's extension to my life. So, and if you yourself are also extension to the life of good people, then it will be amazing. This is one interpretation I mentioned for Allahumma ja'al mahyaya mahya Muhammadin wa ala Muhammad, which means make my life an extension to their life. Let them live in me. That's amazing. If your life is their life, then you are guaranteed. And then you pass it on to other people. But everything has to be done in this little time that we have. We have very little time. We have to do everything in this. But this does not mean that we don't do anything in dunya when it comes to planning, when it comes to, for example, enjoying dunya, and we just sit and do ibadah for akhirah. No, this is not the way actually you can be productive. We have to live in dunya. We have to do justice to dunya. We have to do justice to our body, to our soul, to our family, to our friends. But do everything in the way that helps you for akhirah. You don't need to fast every day. You can eat also. But why you are eating, that's the main thing. And what you do with the energy that you get from eating, that's the issue. If I fast, but I become proud of myself, it's better if I don't fast. If I eat and I get energy to serve, it's good eating. Yeah? So, we don't say you must isolate yourself, you must have no pleasure of dunya, but we should know that where is the direction. First, the general direction should be for akhirah, but a higher level is that not only the general direction for akhirah, everything that you do is for the sake of helping you in your journey. Okay? So, like for example, if you are traveling for a few weeks by car, suppose you have to go a long journey by car for a few weeks. Certainly you need to have some stations. You need to have some stuff. You need to sleep. You need to have food. You need to fill the tank of the car. Yes? This is necessary. You cannot just keep driving. You will, get stuck in the middle of desert. But why you stop in the station? To empower yourself, to re-energize yourself, and carry on. That's the main thing. But if you forget and think, no, this is a good station, let me stay here, and forget the journey, then that's the problem. There is a serious question here, very difficult question, maybe. And that is, some people say, why there is eternal punishment? Because our time is very limited, so I'm trying to address some of the major issues. Why there is eternal punishment? No one asks why there is eternal heaven. We did little things, why Allah is giving us eternal heaven. But they ask why there is eternal punishment. First of all, we should know that whoever goes to heaven goes forever. Okay? So no one will be asked to leave. When you go to heaven, you will stay forever. Okay? So this is the first one. But those who don't go to heaven, they might be, first of all, not sent to hell necessarily, because we have a place between hell and heaven, which is one of the meanings of A'raf. Some people may stay there. So it's not that everyone who doesn't go to heaven goes to hell. First. Second, those who go to hell, they may go temporarily. There are many, many people that are forgiven and they don't go to hell. But even if someone is not forgiven and they go to hell, they can be forgiven. Allah Tabatabai actually says, Shafa'ah is for the people who are sentenced to go to hell and then they will be freed. Okay? But even if someone is not receiving Shafa'ah, maybe for some time they stay in hell, but they will go finally to heaven. So for them is a kind of period of refinement, purification. There are only very narrowly defined categories that they would remain in hell forever. Not every sinner goes to hell. And not every one who goes to hell remains forever in hell. The main group who go to hell and remain forever are those who deliberately, with all pleasure, reject the truth and fight the truth and fight the truth people and take pride in that. These are the people that if you tell them Rasulullah goes to heaven, they say, no, I prefer not to be in heaven if he is there. This is lejaja. You know, lejaja can do this. Someone is starving but is, stubborn, you give him food, and no, I prefer to die not to take food from you. Don't feel surprised. This is son of Nuh. His father is offering him to be saved. He says, I don't want your sheep. Ya bunayya irkab ma'ana. He said, no, I don't need. Sa'awi ila jabalan ya'asimuni min al-ma. Can you imagine you refuse the offer of your father who is kindly saying, Ya bunayya, my dear son. So, those who are going to be permanently in hell are the people that are very stubborn and very vicious. Not only they did zulm to themselves, they did their best to stop other people going to the right direction. In Dua Kumel, we say, لولا ما أقسمت من تعذيب جاحديك وإخلاد معانديك لجعلت النار كلها بردا وسلاما لكنك تقدست أسماؤك أقسمت أن تملأها من الكافرين من الجنة والناس أجمعين. Had it not been that you made a firm decision, of course Allah's firm decision is based on the realities, it's not arbitrary decision, that the people who are jahidik, means those who deny you, reject you. It's not every atheist. There are some atheists that maybe still, they are inquiring, they are studying, they have not found the truth. Inshallah, if they continue, they will find it. Jahid is what the Quran says. جَحَدُوا بِهَا وَاسْتَيْقَنَتْهَا أَنفُسُهُمْ ظُلْمًا وَعُلُوًّا. The people who denied, why they are certain. Once I mentioned this point in Hosea, I said, how many people among mu'mineen can say we have yaqeen? Yaqeen is not a low quality. Yeah? وَاعْبُدْ رَبَّكَ حَتَّى يَأْتِيَكَ الْيَقِينَ. Many of mu'mineen may not have yaqeen. Okay? So, to be in full certainty, it's very special, it's very rare. And the Quran calls jahid someone who is certain and denies. So his understanding is not even like ordinary people like me. He's certain. Abu Lahab and Abu Jahl were not atheists only. Don't think they were just atheists. They didn't believe in Islam. Any non-Muslim is Abu Jahl. No. Jahadu biha wastayqa. Abu Jahl and Abu Lahab knew Prophet before me and you, and more than me and you. We have read about the Prophet. They have lived with the Prophet for 40 years. They knew this man never says any lie. So, if someone is like this, this is the category of the people who go to hell permanently, or murderers. من قتل مؤمنا متعمدا فجزاؤه جهنم خالدا. If someone deliberately kills a moment, not by accident, not by, for example, mistake, he is against innocent people and enjoys killing people. It's the same category, like similar to that. So, these are the people that would be permanently in hell. Maybe there are other categories, but these are the two major ones that I can think of. And these are the people that actually, with the point that we said about embodiment of actions, they create their own hell. And they are permanently in hell because nothing good is left in them. Don't think these are the people that Allah could make decision to send them to heaven or hell, or put them to hell for some time and release them, but Allah is very angry with them, so no, you have to remain in hell. No. It's based on what we have done to ourselves. Have I left anything good in me that can save me and take me to heaven, or I have from top to the bottom filled myself with dirt and germ and darkness and sin and zulm? So, it's not that, sometimes we think that hell and heaven is like two places that are created, and we take people and put there. We can decide, for example, like a very beautiful, for example, resort place. We take people to the resort place to enjoy. This is heaven. And a very bad place and we take people there. It's not like this. Those who go to heaven, they have a heavenly quality. They cannot be separate from heaven. If they don't go to heaven, something is missing in heaven. These are actually more precious than trees and gardens in heaven, in my humble understanding. A mu'min is more important, or the tree that mu'min is going to enjoy and eat from. Which one is more important? The mu'min is more important. So, those who go to hell are also the same. They have such quality that they are hell wherever they are. Just you put them together and you call it hell. Otherwise, this person, even in dunya, wherever he was a hell. And he was making life for other people like hell. If you live with such people, you keep all the time annoyed and hurt. So, eternal punishment is very limited. It's for very small number of people. And these are the people that have done this to themselves. And they are going to see their own reality. It's not that something is going to be added to them. Even fire, for them, it starts from inside. وَقُودُهَا النَّاسُ وَالْحِجَارَةُ. So even they themselves are fire. It's not just, there's external fire. Maybe actually the external fire is not as painful for them than the fire from inside. So, this is the understanding that we have about the eternal punishment. Then there is a discussion in the book about Barzakh. Barzakh is a place, well, I say place, I don't mean physical place, a world between death and the resurrection. Because we die in different times. But resurrection is for all the same time. So we need a kind of place that people can be there and wait till the time comes. According to some hadith, we can understand that people would be in three conditions in Barzakh. Some people, maybe the average, is they are like sleeping. They don't feel anything, they asleep. Marqat, grave is called Marqat because Marqat means the place of Ruqad. Ruqad means asleep. They say, Man ba'athana min marqadina. Who raised us from the place of sleep? So, some people just sleep. But those who are good, as soon as they die, they will start enjoying. Their barzakhi heaven starts. And those who are very bad, as soon as they die, the problem starts. But not the eternal hell, but it's temporary. Therefore, hadith says, Al-qabru imma rawdatun min riyad al-jannah or hufratun min hufar al-nira. Grave is either a garden of the gardens of heaven or a hole of the holes of hell. Of course, I said there's a middle also position, but for very good and very bad people, pleasure and pain start right after the death. When we die, we will be asked some basic and major fundamental questions about your faith, for example. But on the Day of Judgment, there would be detailed questioning. In Barzakh, there is no detailed questioning. But at the Day of Judgment, would be detailed questioning. Okay, unfortunately, our time is over, but we almost mentioned most of the things for Unit 6. We have a little bit left, and Unit 7, I hope, inshallah, we get a chance to finish it. I thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving us the blessing of spending some time together, discussing our aqa'id, and benefiting from the legacy and the scholarship that our ulama have left for us. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin.